My name's alexmoudgil. I'm a filmmaker, editor, sound designer, mix engineer, composer, and producer. I go to college in New York City, and a few weeks ago they switched to online classes, as most colleges did, and now I'm back in my hometown, Rochester, New York. There are some stark differences between the two cities, but the main difference is if I want to get anywhere, I have to drive instead of walk. I can also get up and immediately feel motivated because everyone in the city seems to have already woken up and they're already doing their thing. It's just a very different atmosphere. It can be extremely demotivating being stuck inside, even if you're not doing creative work. This is how I stay productive and motivated without falling into the traps of procrastination. I hope this helps you as much as it's helped me. This is my daily routine while I'm quarantined. Usually I wake up from 10:30 to 1:30. Recently it's been on the earlier side because I felt this overwhelming sense of underproductivity that I knew I needed to change. So even though I hate it, I consciously don't indulge myself by sleeping in the extra 10 minutes. Slowly, I'll force my legs out of bed and resign myself to the fact that this is essentially what I need to do in order to get started with the day. It sounds like I'm coaching myself through the process of getting up. That's kind of exactly what I'm doing. I'll lay my clothes out the night before so that the day of I don't have to decide what I'm gonna wear that day. Not that it matters anyway. The only people that'll see my shirt are like 1,000 miles away, and that's if I decide to turn on my camera. Changing to something less comfortable does help me feel more awake and ready to work, because there's nothing worse than feeling exhausted at your desk. Once I've been up for an hour, it generally feels like any other day, but now I have the extra 3 hours that I didn't sleep through. I'm fully aware that some people get up earlier than that at 7:30 to like 8 a.m., but I think my bedtime of 2:30 to 5 a.m. doesn't really fit that mold. After I get dressed and ready, I'll usually go downstairs. If my family's having breakfast, I'll generally eat with them. If not, I'll generally have some fruit or an early lunch and bring that up to my desk while I work. I like having a window next to my desk. It gives me a sense of what time it is always, and it generally just keeps me grounded to the outside world. This is essential for me during quarantine. Once I get to my desk, I'll generally open my laptop and see what I have to do that day. Generally, I'll have priorities written down for things that I want to get done that day in this app called Bear. It's not sponsored, but I use it for all my note-taking, and I genuinely cannot imagine a more relaxing way to write down ideas or just schedule things. I tried hourly planning daily, but for me, that just made me feel bad that I spent too long doing something, leaving less time for something else. I felt a lot more pressure to stick to exactly what I had planned. With the priority schedule, I've created 3 levels of priority. Ideally, I would get my top priorities done, and then if I have time, get my second and third priorities done, but not feel bad if I don't. They can always be done tomorrow if I need more time. Whenever I'm not in class, I try to work on a project that I've already started. I think since quarantine, it's been so much easier to open up a new file, get invested in making this new thing, whether it be writing or music, and then realize that 20 minutes, an hour later, you have made nothing of value and you have a billion other projects that you could be finishing that are of value that you haven't touched. The priorities list generally fixes that issue. I can think about what projects need to get done the next day, the night before, when I'm clear-headed, rather than the day of when I could struggle from a lack of motivation. There's a great video about going pro that talks about how to combat that feeling of writer's block with every form of art. If I remember, I'll have lunch during the middle of the day. If I forget, I'll have like 2 dinners. Unless my family eats together, I'll generally make myself a sandwich. At the end of the day, I'll try to spend some time relaxing with my family. I think we should also use this quarantine to spend more time with our family, the time that we couldn't afford to spend before. Around 11 or 12, I'll go upstairs, hang my clothes up for the morning, and write down my priorities for the next day. Around that time, I'll finally relax, watch YouTube videos, FaceTime friends, and tell myself that I'll go to bed earlier that night. I have been going to bed earlier, it's just not at the rate I'd like it to be. So that's my daily routine while I'm quarantined. I really hope this helped you guys. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like down below. If you like these type of videos, I have more down the pipeline, so make sure you subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. Also, I have music on all streaming platforms now. If you want to go check it out, that'd be great. If you made it this far to the video, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.